I am honored to have my guest on the show today. This is a big deal for me because we come from the same place, Flint, Michigan.
Auntie.
I've always been so proud of him because when he first released his music and put our city on the map, it was huge. Songs like Tonight, Oh Sheila, Love You Down, and other hits from his group Ready for the World still feel good. My guest moved on and was a solo artist and put out projects like Ghetto Love and Bedtime Stories. And now his latest single, Talking in My Sleep, is a bona fide hit. Welcome to the show, Melvin Riley, Flint's finest. How are you today?
I'm doing great. F-L-I-N-T for life, baby.
Yes,
Hey, it's an honor
yes.
to be here. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yes, I was so happy when I was every week I go through new music. And I saw your name and I saw this song and I was like immediately went and put it on. I love this new single, Talking in My Sleep.
I
You
appreciate
know,
it.
and we are your show, your destination for music and culture discovery. And of course, Melvin Riley, we would love to just discover more from you because you've been putting out music for a long time, solid music,
Yeah,
working with so many different people. And you started in Flint, Michigan with Ready for the World.
right.
How do you feel when you hear your song sampled like Oh Sheila and other songs like that that you put together years ago?
It is such a blessing. I get
Yeah.
blown away, when you hear the new artists coming out and they're using your sample, your voice. It's been Usher, Twista.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a plethora of artists. And for me, it's a big deal because you made a mark in music. You influence someone, they believe in your music enough to want to redo it. That's a huge deal for a songwriter. Yeah.
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 Yeah. And when you think about when you first released music coming from Flint, Michigan,
Yeah.
and you think where you are now, did you ever think the dream was this big?
You know, I'm still, you know what, to be honest, it's like I just started. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because when I sit down and I record, it's like a brand new slate for me every time I record something. So for it to have gotten to be to the, point to where Rock and Roll Hall of Fame wants my memorabilia and number one records, I always expected to do great because I knew God gave me that talent. I didn't know how far because this music industry, you can have a great song, but if it ain't promoted and marketed right, you can have issues.
Yeah.
So this is a tough business. It's like getting to the Super Bowl. You got to put the right people together. So, I did expect for it to be big, and I'm still expecting for it to even continue in my old age.
Well, when I listen to this song, there have been artists that may have put out music years ago and they put out new music and it doesn't flow into what you hear now. But when we talk about talking in your sleep, talking in
Yeah.
my sleep song, your single, talk about when you put this song together because you've been releasing music every year. You put a lot of music out in 24, but this song, I also love the other hits, but your current single, please talk about how you put it together, working with Derek Joshua and the other producer when
Right.
you all recorded this song and what it's about.
Derek Joshua, he's from Flint as well.
Yeah.
And I've always said that Derek, his writing should be out there. And so we collaborated back years ago, me, Derek Joshua, Derek, Martin, a few other guys from Flint. And I like Derek Joshua's musical style, but I felt like, you know what? Let me lace that track with my vibe.
Yeah.
And I heard it and it was different. It's off from what everybody else was doing and it's kind of jazzy. I'm like, you know what? What's good is good. And so I just flowed with that track, and I felt that same vibe where the music was going. And then I went in the studio and then we collaborated on certain things. And then Charlie Jackson, which is original Ready for the World when we were kids, keyboard player, we collabed on this as well, the same song. And so Derek Joshua, Charlie Jackson, and myself pretty much put this song in the perspective of what you hear right now, which is talking in my sleep.
I'm a music head because that duh duh duh. I said, okay, George Benson. I felt
Yeah,
some chords
yeah.
from there. Okay.
Baby, I apologize. And then yeah, you get into that little like people like, wait a minute. And I've always loved being different, but good.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with being different, but make sure that it's hot. Make sure it's good, and people will gravitate toward it, and you open up doors with your perspective of music.
Yeah. Through the years, with all of your music, when you look at your journey, if you had to put it in, give me three words, what would there be? What would they be?
This musical journey, three words.
Yes.
This is a heck of a business. I would say mind blowing, uh, hard, spiritual.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
a hard business because you have too many people that you depend on to do what they're supposed to do.
Hmm.
And that ingredient, you have a few people that may not handle what they're supposed to handle, and it messes up a great project. So that's the
Yeah.
hard part. The spiritual part is be thankful that you know what a hit sounds like, that you have that spiritual vibe, that you can come back and sit down at the keyboard and you know what a hit should sound like. You feel what I'm saying? When you got that spiritual vibe, it's hard to take that away from a person, but you can screw them up in other ways. But be thankful that you got that gift from God to sit down and make that kind of music, because I've written songs and have to reteach myself because you go into a zone. I know I do. And have to reteach yourself how you played that part. And that's where that spiritual part comes in. You're like, I was in a zone, bro. I got to retrain myself what I played.
I
So,
want
and
to
yeah.
continue. I'm sorry.
But no, and the mind blowing part is that you really look up and you're like, when I was a kid, I used to see these people with number one records and great songs, and I'm a music lover, and here I am doing that same thing. That's mind blowing.
I love it. I got a stunning bit, us being from Flint. I tell everyone, being from the Midwest, we got different ears. And then when people say you're from Michigan and they say you're from Detroit, I go, I'm from Flint. We
Right.
different. We
You-
different.
we are, and I told someone that, but you had a lot of ingenuity that moved to Flint, Michigan because of the shops.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of that Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, a melting pot of people that migrated to Flint, Michigan. And now you got athletic talent, musical talent, and of course people move where the money is, and that's what happened. I think that's the reason why Flint is so special. Like you said, we have a melting pot of a lot of talent,
Yeah.
okay, and power, and from a lot of different places.
Absolutely. When we go back to your musical journey, you started with a group, you Ready for the World, and you all put out three albums. Do you ever think about that decision when you decided to go solo? Like, when did you know it was time for you to go solo?
It was really never to go solo. I was just doing a project. I was asked to go solo way before I did that. Was the Backstreet Boys manager had approached me about going solo, but I stuck around because I didn't want to leave the group high and dry.
Hmm.
But I really was supposed to have gone solo, like I think after the first album or so, or second album, and they're like, dude, you need to be. But I was like, I was still loyal to the group. I didn't want to leave them high and dry. But as the saying goes, people don't always appreciate you the way that you should be appreciated. So I stuck around longer than I should have. But to be honest with you, the majority of the Ready for the World stuff that you do here is just me in the studio anyway. So to go solo was no big transition because the Love You Downs, that's just me in the studio. Can He Do It Like This? That's just me in the studio. Baby Let Me Love. There's so many songs that is just me, but I said it was Ready for the World.
Yeah.
But the reality is I was solo even when I was with Ready for the World. It was just called Ready for the World. Yeah.
As my sister and I were reminiscing as I was preparing, it was so refreshing to go hear Gently. I was like,
Ah,
I love that song.
yes, yeah, every time we do a show, somebody want to hear that gently. I'm like, that gently will not leave.
No,
It's
no.
cool, which is cool.
When you sing those songs now, what memories do you feel, or are there any emotions when you sing those songs now, those hits?
Yeah, I'm one of those people that I get into the music a little deep. So if I'm singing it, I need to exude what it is that I feel when I'm singing it. Lately, I've been wondering why I want you to feel me when I sing. So every time I'm singing, I always come back to that place of let me make them feel what I felt when I did it. Because like I said, that's what music is about. And that's what we got to get back to as artists. Its music is very powerful and very spiritual, but I think it went to a place of let's just get this money and market it and be done. But music should get back to what it really is, which is make people feel it, give them chill bumps. That's what it's really about.
How have you been able to maintain your voice all through the years?
People ask me that. I thank God that it stayed strong. It is strong. It is still crisp and young. I mean, I've never done no drugs or anything, so I've never been a
Yeah.
smoker, never been on drugs, never been on none of that stuff. So maybe me being into sports and working out and never getting into the crazy aspect probably helped preserve my voice because I've
Yeah.
never been into the crazy. Yeah, yeah.
Through the years, who are some artists that you like as far as R&B artists that are singing right now?
I like the Ushers,
Mm-hmm.
Chris Browns, Anthony Hamilton's, but I like some rap too, like the Baby, Kendrick Lamar, Drake, even though they did their little thing, but I think they're both two talented brothers. I like rock and roll. I like rap. I'm one of them guys that if it sound good, it don't even matter what genre of music is, as long as I can hear a country western song that's doing their thing, and I'm like, oh,
Right.
that's a cool country song, So I just love great music.
I
Yeah,
love that. I
yes.
love that. What are your thoughts on how country music has really like been blowing up with your Jelly Rolls and your Shabuzi? What do you ever see yourself doing a country or a theme or kind of swaying towards that vibe?
Oh, we've already got it. I'd recorded it back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got like the country and the rock and roll I recorded before it was even getting popular. I'm like, I may as well just release what I did back then because people will think I'm doing something new, but I was doing the rock and roll country vibe back in 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, yeah, I've got one called Forget About Her that would blow people's mind if it got on that big record. They'd be like, who the heck is this? But it's rock and roll. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So no, it's whatever feels good.
I love that. Um, how do you feel? What's the difference as far as your approach now from when you started off through the years and making music now? Because you're 2024, you cranked out a lot of singles
Yeah.
with Gusto Music. What's the approach? Did it evolve? Did it change? What have you learned through the years?
You know what? Just make great music.
Hmm.
We don't know where music is going to go as far as how people are going to market it, promote it. And this social media just allows you to put music out to let people hear you, whether it's on a major label or massive audience, but you're able to let people say, oh, my boy's still killing it. Now, it might not be on the radio, but it's going to be heard. And if you're a real fan of some great music, you're going to love it. So I think it's
Yeah.
important that if you got something, especially in today's climate, you can put out music on social media and let your fans hear who you really are.
Yeah.
I got one called Rockstar that people like, is this guy crazy doing Rockstar? Because I
Yes.
was kind of like, where's he coming from? But then I come back with You Complete Me. Then I come back with Talking About, they're like, we can't, because I'm not just one dimensional.
Right.
I'm what feels good, whatever that is. When you put on it and you're like, oh, that's all that matters. Yeah.
How is it being an artist in 2025 now versus when you started? Did you ever imagine just the diversity of being an artist would be now? Because you have to be a businessman now.
Yes, yes, yes. Business. It's always been that way. To be a business person, you had to surround yourself with a great manager, attorneys that taught you the real part of the business that people don't know about. And I think the difference nowadays is that you have more outlets. You got streaming, mechanicals, you got the performance royalties, but then the performance royalties collect in it. It's like you got to find out, am I getting streaming for interactive to
Right.
non-interactive streaming? Who collects for this? But it's a great thing because you have to know who's collecting what. So,
Yeah.
and I always say, become a business person so that you know, even though you got a manager and attorneys, you need to dissect this thing, take a break and learn this business. And I know you want to be in the studio recording and getting that's fine, but take a summer to really learn this business.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then you can move a little better when you learn it more.
I say you have to stay a student to just really stay in the game. How have you kept yourself just on point? Just keeping up because there's been so many changes, like you said, just even with the sound of R&B. What
Yeah.
have you done just to stay current and know in the know?
Keep your ears to what's happening. Surround yourself with producers that got an ear. The ear is the talent. You got a lot of people that don't have taste buds in this industry.
Yeah.
I call them earbuds, okay? And that's you do. You have a lot of people that don't have earbuds. Surround yourself with the people that really can be like, "Ooh, that's what it is. That's the hit." But those people you can't, you just got to find those people.
Yeah.
Yourself as a songwriter, you got singers out here that don't really know what a hit is. They're singing what somebody else felt was a hit.
Right.
So the art is finding people with ears and be around those people so y'all can come up with the great cookie that everybody needs to hear.
How is touring for you now? And I guess just current because you continue to build your catalog. Um, is there a difference with the fans and touring?
I'm having a ball. You know what? I think I'm having more fun now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we were 19, 20, 25, 30, and you're touring, you're doing like 3 nights a week, 4 nights a week for 8 months. And it becomes I don't know any artist that really is crazy about the touring. I think we love getting on stage and performing for the crowd, but the touring is kind of grueling.
Yeah.
Um, so now though, in my older age, I'm like taking my time doing shows when I want to do them, and I'm just having fun with them. Yeah. Yeah, I think
When we talk about putting your music together, how is it your writing when you're putting your songs together and working with new producers? What's your blueprint print of putting the music together now?
it hadn't changed. The music has to move me first.
Hmm.
Um, I know people write differently. I've always written where I got to come up with a fat track first. The music got to be already banging by itself. Then I got to come and top that. That's my
Yeah.
blueprint. Killer track, but then my vocal arrangement has to complement and blow you away. Because I want when I put the music on, I want you to be like that. Oh, that's cold. But then when my vocal arrangement comes and my hook comes and my verses, that has to even be better than the music. So I challenge myself when I'm writing a song to come up with a cold track, and it ain't easy to make those things mesh. But somehow, some way, I'll be writing, and it all starts to gather together. And I go in the studio, and that's why I say, sometimes when you're in the studio, I can't remember what I recorded because I zone out and I
Yeah.
start trying to meet the vocal arrangement with the music. And then it all becomes this thing that makes sense later on. But at the time, it's just like getting it done.
It's interesting that you said that because I visually saw that, and when I put on the single talking in my sleep,
Mm.
I had to listen to it twice because the first I automatically was drawn because I saw your name, so I was listening to it and I was like, okay, and I was like, this is Melvin Riley. Melvin Riley. I had to play it. I had to bring it back because it's like, wow. And because it just brought like, I've been following you for years, been a fan for years. And it's like, we're here. I think it's just so great. And this is so sincere. you are have been like one of the city's, you are the city's legend. You know, we had MC Bree, but Ready for the World was a big deal.
Right,
And just to
right.
see artists just still having longevity.
Hmm.
Did you see yourself like having longevity? Did you know when you all put out that first project, Ready for the World, like I'm gonna be here in the 2000s?
No, I thought the music would be
Yeah.
still relevant and banging on the radio and still being, because I really do believe the music that we have done is powerful. Um, I didn't expect to be on the road, no, because I'm a laid back kind of guy that just I love making music and creating music and put it out there. Uh, but no, I did not expect to be touring,
Yeah.
no, or doing shows at my age. No, I did not. And I don't think a lot of artists did, like New Edition, Bobby, and I talked to Bobby about a couple of years ago, and I
Yeah.
talked to Ralph. And I think we're all just having fun, like, dude, do you know we still out here doing this thing? We're like,
Yes.
hey, if it's working. So yeah, I think I didn't expect to be on the road, but I did expect to be still putting out music as far as every once in a while. Not
Timeless
at this
music.
age. I figured I would be done putting out music probably around the age of 40.
Wow,
Yeah.
timeless music though. Um, I always ask my guests this, and I would be so curious of your answer. I ask them, what has been your goosebump moment to date? Like meeting someone or a situation happened, but what has been your goosebump moment to date?
I think my goosebump moment has been the documentary that God rest his soul. Derek Martin out of Flint, Michigan, passed away this past summer. And me and him had been working on his documentary for like the last 5 years. And when I say this documentary is overwhelming, I think when people see it, they're going to realize that this is like incredible. The people that are in the documentary are incredible, that are Ready for the World fans that you would never have known was a Ready for the World fan. But the way that they are impacted by our music and that time, I hate to give away the different people that are in the documentary, but you've got Elvis's wife in the documentary, Priscilla Presley. I did a song that was doing like a Elvis type of voice, and she heard it, and she's in the documentary. And it's crazy. It's crazy. That's been my goosebump moment as to why are these people so blown away by Ready for the World's music when you've done this, that, and the other. But it always goes back to the spirituality. What's good is good.
Yeah.
Whether it's, Priscilla Presley or whomever, when they hear what they hear, they like what they like. And I just thought that was a big deal to have, Anthony Anderson and all these big time people doing that thing, but they're like, oh no, this was my Ready for the World. So that was big, and it still is. I'll be glad when the documentary is done. But like I said, the gentleman that's doing the documentary passed away, which is still mind blowing.
Mhm.
And hopefully they'll gather it together. But yeah, when you see the documentary, you'll get chill bumps as well.
I
Yeah.
can't wait. I can't wait. What would you tell your teenage self, 17, because you all started, you were like 17, 18, 19 when you all first came out. What would you tell him now?
You know, and I gotta say this, I haven't really, I've been guided so much since I was young that I didn't really go off and blow my mind as far as doing crazy bad decisions. I mean, we all make bad decisions and make mistakes, but I really, I would probably tell my 17-year-old self, develop more artists.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Create more artists. We tried to create artists out of Flint when we first started, and I did as well. And the labels weren't jumping on a lot of some of the artists that we did, but I think I should have done a lot more developing of artists. If I had to tell my 17, 18-year-old, develop more artists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What can we look forward to with all with your new single? Is an album on the rise, on the horizon, an EP? What's happening? What can we look forward to?
You can definitely look forward to music dropping at least every 3 to 4 months from Melvin Riley. Real R&B. We ain't playing around here. We trying to drop something that you can feel and get back to what feels good.
Yeah.
And I think that's what to be looking, what that's what to look for Melvin Riley is to drop new music, real music that blows your mind until we get tired.
Yeah, yeah, and hopefully, listen,
Until we get tired.
what you said, you could tell your younger self developing. I think that it is important when we go back to Flint. There's a lot of talent out there, and you never know. There may be someone that
Sure.
that will come through Melvin Riley. You
Yeah.
know?
It's all about that marketing and promotion. Starts with that great song, but then if you don't have that marketing and that promotion, it fizzles. When I
Yeah,
come out with a new artist or something, I want it to be something that's going to be put in the machine and give it a real chance. You know what I'm saying? Give it a real chance because we got to have radio. We have to have, promotion and marketing and people like yourself that put it out there in the forefront. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So definitely when I release new artists, if I do, I'm gonna sit back in the back and just let this new talent do what it does. But I want to make sure that I'm surrounded with the right thing to make it happen.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. It's been such a pleasure. It's been an honor to have you on the show. I'm so glad that we can discover more about you. Uh, and you just don't know. Kelly, while you're talking, I'm just remembering the moment when I first saw you on the stage at Beecher High School, and it's just so. You've
Oh,
always been an inspiration. There's so many people like me from Flint who look up to you, who are so proud to say that you are our homeboy. We love it. We support you. I support you, and I'm just looking for more music from Melvin Riley.
thank you so much. Thank you for having me. If a Lion T is in the house,
Yes,
you would definitely hear more music from Melvin Riley, and we gonna drop it, and I ain't gonna let you down. So let's do it. F a
I
Lion
love
T,
it.
baby.
That's
All
right. My
right.
guest today is Melvin Riley. It's the Hybrid Soul with Kelly Kinkaid. Until next time.